The research process in any settings, review of literature is a very, very crucial component. You might have gone through our literature, self-learning materials about a review of literature or basic understanding about research. Review of literature is a primarily collecting secondary data to support or to expand your research understanding, or in the entire research process ends by identifying your research gap. This is very crucial. We can identify research gap in many means, but the most reliable and most recommended way of doing or way of identifying a research gap is through review of literature. To do a review of literature, the title itself shows that we are reviewing the literature. So we need appropriate literature to support your topic, or those literature will help you to identify a research topic. In any research settings, either you can go to library or you can go to online. And now all the library services are available in an online platform. Universities are providing gateways, or multiple online paid databases or free databases are available, and through that easily you can retrieve required data, be it by books, book chapters, a dissertation, or research journal, or monograph, or government reports. Easily you can identify that, but we need to identify in a very appropriate manner, very systematic manner. There is a method of doing data collection, particularly identifying literature. There are two parts in that, in the secondary data identification process. One, once you identify the topic, went through the basic preliminary data, could be the newspaper reporting or talking to the expert or understanding the basic information about the topic, you got a clarity, basic clarity about the topic. So with that, you have to create a mind map. Once you create a mind map, you can identify which area is the central point and which are the third and secondary, tertiary level topics. And once you identify the secondary, tertiary, you can create a connection between these two or multiple topics. You can eliminate the unwanted topics, subtopics, and we can focus on particular set of keywords. So mind mapping helps you to narrow down your topic to a micro approach. One. Secondly, through the mind mapping, you will end up with a number of keywords. Ultimately, when you go to online databases, when you want to search literature, you have to search the literature based on keywords. Can't be searched through statement. If you write a statement, it throws out millions of literature, that you will be in trouble. So mind mapping helps you to focus your topic, narrow down from macro to micro, and results multiple keywords. Through the keywords, we will search the online databases to identify literature. And there are many ways in which creating a mind mapping. You can do it in a simplistic way of using a pen and paper model. You can do it. And since computer, mobile, and other tools are highly utilized for research purpose, we are recommending to use online resources. One of the examples is MindMeister, but if you are free to use any resources which are available to you. And if you do it properly, that gives literature and that gives a Prisma chart. Both are part of this research workshop. We have explained it, the basic concept of doing mind mapping as well as a Prisma chart in the manual, and here this video we are going to give a demo. There is a website called MindMeister. This is an online website, provides multiple services. One of the services is a free service through which you can create a 3 mind mapping. So go to MindMeister, and there if you log in with your Gmail account and take the free service, through that you can create 3 mind mapping. So for today's demo, we are going to create one mind map about digital inequality. Digital inequality is a broad concept that denotes technology is available, but everybody is not enjoying all the benefits. So we are not saying digital divide. 10-15 years back, we used to say that large chunk of people not connected, a group of segment of the society connected to the internet. So there's a binary division, haves and have-nots. But we have come across and we have moved far away, and with the 90 to 93% of mobile connectivity and 70% internet connectivity. But access utilization varies from group to group. That's called digital inequality. So if that is a case of a scenario, we want to explore, want to do research on that. So we have identified that digital inequality is a term, but we need to identify all the subtopics and everything. So if you look at the screen, we have identified that are primarily access to computer or internet. Once you have access, then how best you can utilize those information for your understanding. This is secondary level of inequality. The tertiary level is participation. Since online is an interactive platform, are you able to participate? So we can notice, we can observe inequality on this part, all these three levels: access to computer, access to internet, access to mobile. Once access, is there any issue with the access, or is there any issue with the understanding? Is there any issue with the participation? Access can be further divided into economic or location based, gender based, or we can identify a number of variables on that. So location can be further divided into urban, rural, semi-urban, or gender can be male, female, and the others. And understanding can be divided into other, again, skills and competencies, language and literacy skills. Participation can be a civic engagement, it can be a psychological engagement, it can be non-political engagement, or it can be political engagement. So these all the factors are related to digital inequality. So now you can understand that there are many areas are involved. There are many more, but as of now we have identified the primary fundamental concept of inequality. So in your research, you don't need to focus on everything. Simple, you can talk about inequality in terms of access in the gender's perspective. Is there any inequality between male, female, others while accessing internet, computer in the simplistic manner? We can do that. So this mind map able to remove other focus area. You're focusing on access, gender, male, female. So with that keywords, we can do that. So once you do the mind mapping, it will helps you to identify the area, and with that area, and now we got the keywords: inequality, access, gender, male, female. These are the keywords. With that keywords, if you go to the database, you can identify the literature related to a topic called gender digital gap or digital gender gap, whatever you name it. You'll find a plenty of literature. Or if you want to talk about participation, psychological engagement, digital inequality, combine the keywords, go to the database, you'll identify the relevant literature. So now I will show you the demo of how to create this particular mind map. So I have created for the explanation purpose. We will create again the same mind mapping for clarity, and after watching this video, you will be able to utilize the tools to create your mind mapping for your research process. If you open MindMeister, starts with one simple central dot that's usually empty, or it will ask you to put the name on that. So now we are putting the term for our research called digital inequality. So once you type the main term, and either you can, on the screen you can see the plus point, or you can press tab. Once you press the tab button through keyword, it will create a secondary node. This is called child node. The first is the parent, then child, and this is a secondary node. Here we can say access. Access is one of the primary node, and press enter, and it will give you option whether you want a tertiary node or you want to create another secondary code. Either use the mouse or you can press enter. It will create one more node. Here we can say participation, and press enter, and create one more either through mouse or through the keyboard, and we can say understanding. There are three we have created, and now with the mouse, helper mouse, you can move the mind mapping here and there, and you can zoom out, you can align the map according to your visibility in there. Now we are going to create further subtopics under the access. Use either mouse or you can use a keyboard on that. So I'll use mouse here. Under the access, we are going to say that location, and press, and there is a gender, and press enter, and there is one more, then based on economic conditions, because internet access also demands substantial investment. For normal smartphone, or you want to have a better computer, tablet, so it all depends upon how much you are able to invest. Better the investment, better you are able to utilize it, but it requires a better competency, or else the entire investment will become waste. So there are a lot of factors affects the access. And now under the location, we can create two more nodes. This is maybe a rural factor, because where internet access may be a problematic due to the reach of service providers, availability of electricity, many factors, infrastructural facilities problematic in rural, so automatically it affects the access. And then urban is a more pampered place, because if you look at India's in Delhi density, it's close to 165% in urban context, 53 to 55% in rural context. Means in urban, each individual having more than one connection. Mobile Delhi density, if you talk about that. If you go to rural, as of 2021 data, it shows 55%. Means every 2% and only one is having connection. So you can see there's a difference in terms of access here. So rural, urban, or if you can add semi-urban also. In a gender, there is a male and there is a female. Then we can say others. And like that, understanding here, we want one more sub topic called skills and competency. And press one more, then here we are talking about literacy skills. These are the necessary technical tools, knowledge tools, in order to utilize the internet opportunities or resources. Because online internet materials, majority of the materials are in English, 55% or 58%. Earlier, in the beginning, it was around 75-80%. Now it's being reduced because more other languages started become very popular in the online platform. So if the half of the materials on the online is in English, then suppose somebody is not familiar with English, then there is restriction. The inequality comes. Somebody is having good knowledge about English, that person utilizes the resources much better because more opportunities. Not familiar with the English, then automatically it's being denied. So this is a competency problem, and automatically there is a divide happens, inequality. Somebody is having better language proficiency, utilization become much better, and other person having lesser language proficiency, then automatically the utilization become lower. So this is the challenge for any social settings to facilitate the technological resources for personal utilization. Participation, again we mentioned about that, can be a psychological engagement. Psychological engagement means utilizing technological tools for our own understanding. Better the understanding, you can take a better decisions. So at least this is, if we can achieve psychological engagement, that's the biggest empowerment process. With the mobile, with sufficient language proficiency, if you're able to access all the services available in your locality, you don't need to depend on anyone. You can take a decision on your own. So we are empowering individuals with the technological resources. If you have access, if you are able to understand, if you're able to participate. So that varies person to person. So automatically that leads to inequality. So one is a psychology engagement, another one is civic engagement. So like that, there are political engagement, non-political engagement. You can add more on that. Once you add all this, you can see that whatever ideas you have in digital inequality, you are able to represent it in a screen, or you represent it in a paper. You're putting all the ideas related to inequality. Some of them are tertiary, some of them closely interlinked, some of them can be discarded, some are maybe further divided into more points. So that this is the outcome of mind mapping. While reading literature, you will read everything about digital inequality. You might not be able to put a priority. Which topic should be highlighted? Which is required in our context? Which needs to be done? Where the literature is not providing sufficient information. So that helps you to narrow down from macro to micro. That is the outcome of mind mapping. So here it's very simple. When you are using Mind Master, you have to use either enter button or tab. Or there are other option is you can use a mouse there, the plus point, whether you use a horizontal plus that takes you to the secondary level or tertiary level, and every button below there is a plus point that takes the same kind of more button the secondary level. If you want to have 4-5 option under secondary, you can use a plus point under the each button. So if you use it, it's a very simple process of creating mind mapping in a colorful manner. And the color and priority, there are many ways you can change the pattern. You can give emphasis to your area. For example, use the control and select all the secondary node, go to settings. Here if you want to put a border shape in the blue color, it can change. Or if you want to border give emphasize, you can put yellow color and increase the size, or you can do whatever way. This will help you to explain the different categories of importance. So you can play around with the mind mapping, and once you use the proper subtopics and colorful presentation, your focus area might emerge through mind mapping. That's the easiest way to identify a research gap. Now we have created a mind map. Now we have decided that we will work on this area of access only. Within the access, we will find out the gender gap. Is there any gap between male, female in terms of accessing digital resources? So digital inequality, access, gender, and male, female. These are the keywords we have identified through mind mapping. With that keywords, we have to create a keyword string. In all the online databases, the structure is very simple. Databases are the main backbone of the online library system. Database is nothing but an enlarged, bigger Excel sheet where there are rows and columns. Each cell contains one information. So that's a very simplistic way of presenting a databases. For your understanding, I'm telling that. But this is how Google is maintaining, or EBSCO is maintaining, or Procus is managing. All the databases are represented in a very simple table format. The quantum of database size might vary from service provider to service provider. What we are going to do it through the keyword string, right? And databases understand certain sequential orders. If you specify, if you give the keywords in a proper order, and you will get the result in an expected line. So rather than giving randomly typed keywords, if you type it in a very meaningful manner, and you can eliminate the unwanted literature, and you will get the expected results in the search initial stage itself. So mind mapping helps you to identify the focus, and that ends with the number of keywords. Now we will go to Google Scholar. This is an open service, and here we have to type the keyword string. There are 2-3 methods. I am telling that. Here in the search option, we are going to discuss about digital inequality, we are going to discuss about access, we are going to discuss about gender. So there are 3 concepts. We will try to interlink these 3 concepts in a one keyword string, and once enter, you will find the literature accordingly that. First, we will take the digital inequality. So we will type a digital inequality and type OR, that's in a capital. And if you able to type it OR, and I'll tell you what is the utilization of OR: digital inequality, or digital divide, or gap. So you find all the related meaning, keywords of related meaning: gap, divide, inequality. So you can add any number of synonymous words in your first segment. So all talking about inequality. And please make sure that when you are typing 2 words, and that will become 2 different keywords. So we have to make sure that computer should understand digital inequality in a single word. So put that in a double quote, and digital divide in double quote. and gap is a single word, so no need to worry about that. So all these three, now we got three keywords. If without double quote means digital inequality, digital divide and gap, we'll end up with a 5. With the double quote, you got only 3. So the search engine will give reports about digital inequality, digital divide and gap. Not specific, you won't find anything about inequality. Anything it will come, that will be in the digital inequality only. So that part you make sure that. So this is one concept is over. Now we are linking this concept with another second concept called access. A&D, we are using A&D. So the first concept, the search engine can take any one of the keyword, either gap or divide or inequality. That's why we have used OR, OR, OR. Either this one or other one or other one. With this, the search engine should include one of the second and third concept. So we are using access or connection or networking. So all talks about internet access, connection, networking, access. These three are related to the concept of individuals or able to access computer or mobile. So we are connecting divide with access. OR we used within a concept. Between two concepts we have used A&D, right? So now two concepts are connected. Now we have to connect the third one, that is called gender. So you can use the word gender or male or female. So we haven't used any double words, so no need to use a double quote except the first one where we have used a digital inequality and digital divide. This is part, make sure that. So the mind mapping gave an opportunity for us to pinpoint a specific segment and also gave a direction, and one concept is inequality, another is access, another gender. So in the keyword string we found similar keywords with the same meaning. So that in order to expand our literature, so we have put the three concepts using the OR within the concept, A&D between the concepts. So this is called keyword string. Once you type it, you can use the same keyword string format for any databases. Go to ProQuest or EBSCO or Google Scholar, name any database, use a similar method, you will find the result, because all the service providers are using database as a backbone. Could be any database, but the retrieval concept is the same. So with that keyword string, we are clicking the search option and it gives, see the result. The result, if very clearly mentioning, measuring the gender gap, access to closing the gender gap in agriculture, that you can discard it because not related to your area. Computer use and the gender gap, the issues of access, use, motivation, performance. It matches your idea. Access, what are the issues with accessing all those parts? And gender gap, if you want to utilize for understanding, you can use it. After that, information technology and gender gap towards a global view. So you can understand that if you just type digital inequality and gender, you will find millions of literature. Even now also, if you look at that Google Scholar, with our keyword string, we found 34,70,000. Ultimately, if our research study for your dissertation in master's level and diploma, as per the curriculum recommendation, you need 20 articles, minimum 20 articles to complete your review of literature. And whereas with our keyword string, Google Scholar through 34,70,000. From that, we had to come down to 20. So here you need to apply inclusion and exclusion criteria. One, you can narrow down your research in terms of time. Here, go here in the advanced search, just type 2016. And here you can type 2022 or whichever period you want to mention that, and click that. So here what happens, right? Now 34 lakhs to 70,000, now you got 18 lakhs 90,000. Half of the literature is gone. So this is the way you can include the criteria and exclude the criteria. If you add that, the literature can be fine-tuned, and whenever you identify the literature, make sure that everything you've written in a paper. In the first keyword string, through Google Scholar, we found, suppose you are going, in default, Google Scholar shows 10 results. So you are going for 10 pages. So 100 results you are going for first 100. The 100 pages, 10 pages you're going, you identify the 100 literature. In that 100 literature, 7 literatures are related to your topic. 93 are discarded. All this information, you use it. There are websites that provides the Prisma chart, and if you put the number, that gives an outcome of Prisma chart. Refer the manual, easily you can generate the Prisma chart. Hopefully this session gives you an idea about how to do a mind mapping. With that keyword string, you go to the any databases, retrieve the required information. Thank you.